Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Sara English. I'm Sarah, and I'm so happy you decided to spend some time with us today.
And I'm Mike. Whether you are listening while walking, relaxing at home, traveling to work, or enjoying a quiet evening, thank you for being here with us.
Today, we are going to explore a topic that many English learners think about every single day.
Yes, today we are talking about how to train your brain to think in English instead of translating every sentence from your own language.
This is one of the biggest goals for English learners because thinking in English helps conversations become faster, smoother, and much more natural.
And don't worry if this sounds difficult right now. By the end of this episode, you will understand that it is a skill anyone can develop with small daily practice.
As always, we will use clear and natural English for B1 to B2 learners. We want you to enjoy the conversation while learning useful expressions naturally.
Remember, you do not need to understand every single word. Listen for the general meaning, relax, and let your brain slowly become familiar with natural English.
Before we begin, let's ask you a simple question.
When you want to say something in English, what happens inside your mind first?
Do you immediately think in English?
Or do you first create the sentence in your own language and then translate every word?
Most learners choose the second option.
And that is completely normal because translation feels safe when we are learning a new language.
But after some time, translation becomes like a heavy backpack that you carry everywhere.
It slows you down, makes conversations stressful, and sometimes causes confusion because languages do not always work in the same way.
Imagine trying to ride a bicycle while carrying a large bag full of books.
You can still move, but everything feels heavier and slower.
Thinking in English is like putting that heavy bag on the ground.
Suddenly, your movements become lighter, faster, and more comfortable.
Of course, this change does not happen overnight.
It grows little by little through simple habits that anyone can practice.
Mike, do you remember when you first realized that thinking in English was different from translating?
Yes, I remember it very clearly. At first, every sentence was like solving a math problem.
Really?
Absolutely. Someone asked me a simple question, and my brain started working very hard.
What happened inside your mind?
First, I understood the question. Then I translated it into my own language. After that, I created my answer. Then I translated my answer back into English.
That sounds exhausting.
It really was. Sometimes people finished the conversation before I finished my sentence.
I think many listeners know exactly that feeling.
Then, one day, something interesting happened.
What was it?
Someone asked me, "How are you today?"
That's a very common question.
Yes, but for the first time, I answered, "I'm doing great, thanks," without translating anything.
It just came naturally?
Exactly. The sentence appeared in my mind before I even noticed it.
That must have felt exciting.
It did. It was only one small sentence, but it showed me that my brain was beginning to build a new habit.
I love that example because many learners think they must suddenly think in English all the time.
But it usually starts with very small phrases.
First, one sentence.
Then two.
Then short conversations.
And before you realize it, your brain begins choosing English naturally in many situations.
I had a similar experience.
Really? Tell us about it.
When I first started speaking English regularly, I always tried to build perfect sentences.
That sounds familiar.
If I didn't know the perfect word, I stopped talking completely.
Many learners believe they need perfect vocabulary before speaking.
Exactly. But later, I realized something important.
What did you discover?
Your brain learns faster when you keep communicating instead of stopping every few seconds.
So making mistakes actually helped you improve?
Yes, every conversation became practice, not a test.
That is a wonderful mindset.
Because language is a tool for communication, not an exam that follows you every day.
Let's explain something important.
Good idea.
Thinking in English does not mean using difficult vocabulary.
Not at all.
It simply means using the English that you already know.
Many learners know hundreds or even thousands of words, but they still believe they cannot think in English.
The problem is usually not vocabulary.
It is habit.
Exactly.
Your brain follows the habits that you repeat every day.
If you always translate first, your brain believes translation is necessary.
But if you slowly begin thinking directly in English, your brain starts creating a new path.
Imagine walking through a forest.
At first, there is no clear path.
Every step feels difficult because plants and branches are everywhere.
But if you walk the same way every day, the path becomes clearer.
After many walks, you don't even think about where to step.
Your brain works in a very similar way.
Every time you think directly in English, even for 1 minute, you make that path a little stronger.
Many learners ask, when will I finally think in English naturally?
The answer is different for everyone.
But one thing is true for all learners.
Small daily practice is much more powerful than long practice once a week.
5 focused minutes every day can change your brain more than 2 hours once a month.
Consistency teaches the brain that English is part of daily life.
Instead of becoming a special activity that happens only during lessons.
Now let's imagine a simple situation.
You're making a cup of tea in the kitchen.
Normally, you might do everything silently.
But today, you can describe your actions in English.
You can think, I'm boiling water.
I'm taking a cup.
I'm adding tea.
Now I'm waiting.
These sentences are simple.
But they teach your brain something very important.
English is not only for classrooms.
English can become part of ordinary life.
And when that happens, thinking in English becomes much easier because your brain starts connecting English with real experiences instead of translation.
One of the biggest misunderstandings about thinking in English is believing that your brain must suddenly switch completely from your first language to English.
But that almost never happens. It is usually a gradual process, and each small success builds confidence for the next one.
Think about learning to drive a car. At the beginning, you think carefully about every movement.
You check the mirrors, look at the road, think about the pedals, and pay attention to every small detail.
Everything feels slow because your brain is learning a completely new skill.
But after enough practice, many of those actions become automatic.
You no longer think about every tiny movement because your brain has created strong habits.
Thinking in English develops in the same way. At first, it feels difficult, but one day you realize you are using English without thinking about every word.
Mike, have you ever caught yourself thinking in English without planning to do it?
Yes, and the funny thing is that I usually notice it after it happens.
Really? Tell us about one of those moments.
One morning I was making breakfast and I accidentally thought, I need more bread, instead of saying it in my first language.
That must have surprised you.
It did. I actually smiled because it happened naturally.
Those little moments are exciting because they show that your brain is changing.
Exactly. They may seem small, but they are signs of real progress.
I had something similar happen while shopping.
What happened?
I looked at some fruit and thought, bees look fresh today.
Without translating first?
Yes, I didn't plan it. The sentence simply appeared.
I love examples like these because they happen during ordinary life.
And they remind us that thinking in English doesn't only happen during study time.
It can happen while cooking, walking, cleaning, exercising, or shopping.
Let's share our first practical strategy.
I think this one is simple but very powerful.
Instead of translating whole sentences, begin by naming the things around you.
Look around your room right now.
Maybe you can see a chair,
A window,
a phone,
a bottle of water,
a notebook.
or perhaps a pair of headphones.
Instead of saying these words in your own language, quietly say them in English.
This trains your brain to connect objects directly with English words.
There is no translation in the middle.
It may sound too easy, but simple exercises often create the biggest improvements.
After you become comfortable with single words, you can add short descriptions.
For example, the chair is comfortable.
The window is open.
The coffee is hot.
The weather looks cloudy.
These short thoughts slowly become natural.
Another useful habit is asking yourself small questions throughout the day.
Questions make your brain active instead of passive.
For example, when you wake up, ask yourself, how do I feel today?
Then answer in simple English.
I feel energetic.
Or, I'm still sleepy.
Before lunch, you can ask, what do I want to eat?
Before leaving home, you can ask, do I have everything?
These are real questions that people naturally think every day. Because they are useful, your brain remembers them more easily. Mike, I know another exercise that helped me a lot.
Which one?
I started talking to myself in English.
Some people may think that sounds strange.
Maybe a little, but it is excellent practice.
And nobody says you have to speak loudly.
Exactly. You can simply whisper or even think the sentences silently.
What kinds of things did you usually say?
Very ordinary things.
Such as?
I need to answer this email.
That's useful.
I should drink more water today.
Another practical sentence.
I have to leave in 20 minutes.
These are the kinds of thoughts we all have every day.
And because they belong to your real life, they are much easier to remember than random vocabulary lists.
That brings us to another important idea.
Learn language in situations, not in isolation.
Instead of memorizing 50 unrelated words, connect new vocabulary to daily experiences.
For example, if you are cooking dinner, learn words connected with cooking.
If you enjoy traveling, learn expressions about airports, hotels, and directions.
Your brain loves meaningful connections.
The stronger the connection, the easier the memory becomes.
Let's talk about another common mistake.
Many learners believe they must think in long, perfect sentences.
But real life doesn't always work that way.
Native speakers often think using very short ideas.
For example, need coffee.
Running late.
Looks great.
Time to go.
These thoughts are quick and natural.
So don't put pressure on yourself to create beautiful paragraphs inside your head.
Start with small pieces of language.
They gradually grow into longer thoughts.
Another excellent habit is describing what you see while walking.
Imagine you're walking through a park.
You might think, the trees are moving in the wind.
A child is riding a bicycle.
The sky is very blue today.
That dog looks friendly.
You don't need anyone to listen.
The goal is simply to keep your brain active in English.
Sometimes learners worry because they don't know every word.
That happens to everyone.
When you don't know a word, don't stop immediately.
Try explaining the idea using easier English.
For example, imagine you forget the word umbrella.
You could think, the thing people use when it rains.
Your explanation may not be perfect.
But your brain keeps working in English instead of returning to translation.
That flexibility is incredibly valuable. It teaches your brain to communicate instead of becoming stuck.
Another helpful technique is creating small stories in your mind.
I enjoy this exercise because it feels creative.
You can look at someone in a cafe and imagine their day.
Maybe you think, he's waiting for a friend.
She's reading an interesting book.
Perhaps they're planning a holiday.
None of these ideas need to be true.
The purpose is simply to keep building English thoughts naturally.
The more often you do this, the more comfortable your brain becomes.
Eventually, English stops feeling like a school subject.
Instead, it becomes another way of understanding the world around you.
And once that change begins, your confidence grows little by little because English starts feeling less like something you study and more like something you genuinely use every single day. Now that we have talked about practical ways to train your brain, let's discuss something many learners experience but rarely talk about.
Yes, and that is frustration.
Sometimes you practice for weeks, but it feels like nothing is changing.
You listen to podcasts, learn new vocabulary, and study grammar, but your mind still wants to translate.
If that has happened to you, you are certainly not alone.
Learning a language is not like turning on a light switch.
It is much more like watching the sunrise.
At first, everything still looks dark.
Then, little by little, the sky becomes brighter.
You may not notice the change every minute, but after some time, the whole world looks different.
Your English grows in exactly the same way.
Small improvements often happen quietly before they become obvious.
Mike, what do you think is the biggest sign that someone is starting to think in English?
I think it happens when learners stop worrying about finding the perfect sentence.
That's interesting.
Instead of asking, "Is this perfect English?" they begin asking, "Can people understand me?"
That is a very important difference.
Communication becomes more important than perfection.
And surprisingly, that is often when people become more fluent.
Exactly. When your mind relaxes, your words can flow more naturally.
Another good sign is understanding simple English without translating.
For example, when someone says, "Take your time,"
Instead of translating each word, you immediately understand the meaning.
that quick understanding is a wonderful feeling.
It shows that your brain is beginning to recognize ideas instead of individual words.
Let's review some useful expressions from today's episode.
The first expression is think in English.
This means creating ideas directly in English without translating from another language.
Another useful word is habit.
A habit is something you do regularly until it becomes natural.
We also used the word automatic.
Automatic means something happens naturally without much conscious effort.
Another important word is confidence.
Confidence is the feeling that you believe in your own ability.
We also talked about progress.
Progress means slowly becoming better over time.
Another useful word is flexible.
Flexible means being able to adapt instead of stopping when something is difficult.
Finally, we used the word consistent.
Consistent means continuing to practice regularly, even if each practice session is short.
These words are not only useful for learning English.
They are useful for learning almost any skill in life.
Before we finish, let's leave our listeners with a simple challenge.
We love giving small challenges because they are easy to start today.
Tomorrow morning, try thinking in English for just 5 minutes.
Don't use a dictionary.
Don't worry about grammar.
Don't try to sound perfect.
Simply describe your morning.
You can think, I'm opening the window.
The weather feels nice.
I'm making breakfast.
Today, I have a busy schedule.
If you forget a word, explain it using easier English.
Keep your thoughts moving instead of stopping.
Remember, your goal is not perfect English.
Your goal is to build a new habit.
Every small thought in English makes that habit stronger.
One day, without expecting it, you will notice something wonderful.
You will catch yourself thinking in English while walking, cooking, working, or simply enjoying your day.
And when that moment comes, remember that it didn't happen because of one long study session.
It happened because of many small moments that you repeated again and again.
That is the real secret of becoming more fluent.
Small actions, daily practice, steady progress.
If today's conversation helped you, we'd love to hear from you.
Tell us in the comments where you're listening from and answer this question.
What is one daily situation where you will try to think in English this week?
Maybe while cooking, driving, walking, studying, or getting ready for work.
Every answer is different, and every small step matters.
We truly enjoy reading your comments because they remind us that people from all around the world are learning together.
Thank you for relaxing with us, practicing with us, and becoming part of the Talk Sara English community.
Keep listening, keep speaking, keep thinking in English, and most importantly, keep believing that every day of practice is bringing you closer to your goal.
Take care of yourself, enjoy your English journey, and remember that fluency is built one simple thought at a time.
We'll see you in the next episode of Talk Sara English. Until then, have a wonderful day and happy learning.